Maize head smut, commonly known as black rice and cereal ear, is a major disease in corn-producing areas. The disease is seen in all corn-producing areas around the world. Since it was first reported in northeast China in 1919, the disease has spread rapidly. It is more serious in continuous cropping corn fields in North China, Northwest China, Northeast China, and South China's cold mountain areas, especially in spring corn areas in the north, hilly and mountainous corn areas in the southwest and northwest corn areas. The incidence rate in general years is 2 to 8%, and or even 60% to 70% in severe plots, resulting in serious yield reduction. Maize head smut is a systematic infection disease in the seedling stage, mainly affecting the female and male ears of maize. Typical symptoms occur at the ear stage, mainly including two types, smut type and abnormal deformed spike. First of all, the smut type is introduced. Except for bracts, the whole ear becomes a large black pollen bud. The base is enlarged and the tip is small, without filament splitting. The bracts are usually not easy to break. The black powder does not leak without flying or consolidation into a block. The filamentous host vascular bundle tissue is mixed inside. The white film is coated outside at the initial stage, and the black powder is exposed only after the film ruptures at a later stage. The second is abnormal deformed ears. The staminate flower organs are deformed, without stamens. The glooms are leafy, and the staminate heads are hedgehog-shaped, without obvious black powder or filaments. Female ears that are less damaged can maintain the grain shape during the filling stage, but the grains are still black powder after being crushed. The base grains form 3 to 5 centimeters, long buds or cluster leaflets, containing a small amount of black powder. In addition to the typical symptoms of maize head smut at the ear stage, the severely affected plants may show various symptoms at the seedling stage. The seedling tillers are more and more clustered. The plants are obviously dwarfed, the internodes are shortened, and the leaves are dark green and straight. Farmers call this disease short seedling with dense leaves, thick lower edge, thin upper edge, dark leaves, green color, and curved body. Yellowish-white stripes parallel to the veins appear on the leaves of some cultivars, and the spear leaves of some seedlings are tightly rolled together and curved into a whip shape. The pathogen causing maize head smut is Phacelotheca, which belongs to the Basidiomycotina and Sphacelotheca. The pathogen is mainly transmitted by the black powder scattered from the ear, that is to say teleospores. The teleospores are yellowish-brown to dark purple, spherical or nearly spherical, with spicules on the surface. The teleospores are mixed with spherical or nearly spherical sterile cells, with a smooth and nearly colorless surface. Before maturity, teleospores often gather to form spore bulbs, which are surrounded by a film composed of hyphae. After dispersing, mature teleospores germinate under suitable conditions to produce septate basidiospores, promycelium, and lateral basidiospora. The basidiospora is monosporous, colorless, and oval. Next, we will introduce the incidence of smut. The bacteria mainly overwinter as teleospores in the soil, and some overwinter by mixing with manure or adhering to the surface of seeds. Bacteria in soil is the most important primary source of infection, while seed carrier is the main way of long-distance transmission of the disease. Teleospores can survive in soil for 2 to 3 years. Teleospores begin to mature during the spinning stage of maize ears and fall into the soil in large quantities, and some fall on the seeds, especially during the harvest stage. After germination, the teleospores of head smut fungus of maize directly infect the meristem of maize seedlings. The optimal period of pathogen infection is from the time when the white tip of the seed rupture is exposed to the time when the bud grows to 1 to 1.5 centimeters. The key stage of pathogen infection is before the bud emerges from the soil. Therefore, the temperature and humidity, sowing depth, seedling emergence speed, and other factors before the bud emergence are closely related to the occurrence degree of maize head smut. The suitable temperature for the occurrence of the disease is 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. The suitable water content of the soil is 18% till 20%, and the soil is cool and dry, which is conducive to pathogen infection. Therefore, maize is the main infection period of pathogens before the 3-leaf stage. After 7 leaves, the pathogen will no longer infect maize. We have roughly understood the incidence law of maize head smut, and we have simply analyzed its incidence conditions. First, the disease resistance of different cultivars of maize is significantly different, and disease-resistant cultivars rarely suffer from the disease. Second, the disease is serious on continuous cropping sites and mild on rotation sites. Third, the use of undecomposed barnyard manure, undisinfected seed, and improper disposal of diseased plant residues will increase the amount of soil bacteria, resulting in serious occurrence of the disease. Fourth, the disease is serious when the seeds are sown too deeply and the seed vitality is too weak. Fifth, the incidence is the highest at a soil moisture content of 20%. Ideally, the incidence law and conditions should be considered. Let's talk about prevention and control techniques of maize head smut. The first choice is to select resistant cultivars with disease-resistant cultivars. The test shows that there are significant differences in the resistance of different cultivars to smut, and disease-resistant cultivars rarely have incidence under the same environmental conditions. At the same time, the seeds are mixed with chemicals. 40% white food gelatin suspension can be used to mix 270 to 330 ml with 1.2 L water, and 100 kilograms of seeds, which is efficient in prevention and control, such as carbendazim, carboxin, and diisothiocyanatomethanes 2. The same control effect can also be achieved by mixing seeds with chemicals. Second, take appropriate agricultural control measures. First, eliminate and reduce primary infection sources and do not transport seeds from the endemic area. Second, eliminate and reduce the number of pathogen sources in the field and control the disease environment by reducing continuous cropping, carrying out crop rotation using decomposed manure, and properly handling diseased residues. Third, strengthen cultivation and management. Sow late in the northern China as appropriate. Improve the sowing quality. Prepare the land to preserve soil moisture. Sow shallowly as appropriate, and sow by spot watering. This is the end of our introduction to maize head smut. Next, we should pay attention to the difference from corn smut. Can tell the maize head smut in terms of occurrence period, affected part, main symptoms, and occurrence conditions. In the next class, we will organize a discussion and identification of these two diseases. Well, that's all for today's class. See you next time.